Hello and welcome to our program Where God Weeps. Lesotho, also known as a kingdom in the sky, is a small country about the size of Belgium, surrounded like an island by South Africa. Many of the villages consist of thatched huts and are colorfully denoted by different flags indicating whether meat, alcohol, or vegetables are for sale. These villages are very vastly distributed, and some are only reachable by horseback or light aircraft. To tell us more about this unique kingdom, it is my great privilege to welcome the Bishop of Leribe, Bishop Augustinus Tumaole Bane. Welcome, Your Excellency, and thank you for being with us here today in our program.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate your invitation to this interview.
Your Excellency, you were born in 1947 in Motsitseng,
Yes.
Lesthoto.
Yes.
Where is Motsitseng? Is it a city? Is it a village?
Motsitseng is a small village up in the mountains. It's a very small village.
How many people would be living in your village?
About 300 in that small village.
Now, you came from a Catholic background. Have you had the Catholic faith for a long time in your family, or was it a recent conversion?
I could say Catholic faith in my family was recent, because originally my father was not a Christian, even my mother. My father converted to Catholicism when he was here in Italy during the Second World War, because there was a missionary priest, a Canadian, who had accompanied the soldiers from Lesotho to the Second World War. So my father converted, and he was baptized here in Italy. He was not married by that time. He went back to Lesotho after the war, and then he married my mother, who was also not a Christian.
Did she convert before, afterwards?
She converted on the day of the wedding.
On the same day?
On the same day. On the same day she converted.
So she received her baptism and her wedding?
No, that was only a conversion. So at that time, there was about 1 year between conversion and baptism.
Would this have been a strange phenomenon in your village, or would Christianity have already been known? Because if I understand correctly, Lesotho is also traditional African religions. So was it strange that your father came back from Italy as a Catholic?
No, it wasn't that strange, because in fact, like I said, Catholicism arrived in Lesotho in 1862. And the Second World War was in 1940-something. So there was at that time already the Calvinists who arrived in 1833, the Catholics who arrived in 1862, and then the Anglicans who arrived in 1865. So only that my region was so remote up in the mountains that the missionaries had not yet reached there in full force.
So the Calvinists were the ones who first evangelized in Lesotho?
Yes.
And they did a good job?
They did a good job.
Through the teaching of the Bible?
Teaching of the Bible and establishing schools. But then when the Catholics arrived in 1862, they came in big numbers and they spread easily all over in Lesotho, especially the remote region and parts of Lesotho. And they established a lot of schools. The schools during the day served as a school, but on Sundays it served as a church.
Your Excellency, a little bit to yourself. When did you have your first experience of God? When did you really know that God was alive and present for you?
There was a priest there, especially on the day before our confirmation, when he sang the Ite Missa Est. dismissing
At the end of the Mass.
At the end of the Mass, I said, oh, I would like to sing this. So that's when I really I began. And then the following day during the confirmation, really that's where then I said, I would like to become a priest. That was 1958.
You entered the seminary at a very young age, at 22. And that was clear for you for then on, it was the priesthood.
Yes. But anyway, it was because of it was on and off. I remember there was a time I decided to quit, but my parish priest told me that in life it is like that. If I have the focus on priesthood, well, there will be some difficulties, but not that every time when there's a difficulty, I decide to quit. So he said I should know that there should be some difficulties in life, and I should try to face them, not to run away from difficulties.
Would you say that was your biggest challenge to your priestly vocation, or what was the biggest challenge to your priestly vocation?
Yes, during the time when I was at the minor seminary, my parish priest asked me to bring Holy Communion to a sick person far about 50 kilometers away, and I drove there on horseback because my parish priest he was not well. So he thought, being me a seminarian and the elder, because we were 4 seminarians, he asked me to bring the Holy Communion. When I arrived there, the man looked very sick. I gave him Holy Communion, but after giving him Holy Communion, I saw expression of joy and peace on his face. And as I left, this impressed me to an extent that I said, really, I would like to serve people, especially the sick and the dying. That's where my vocation was also
confirmed.
Confirmed, yes.
And what about your obstacle? What would have been the greatest difficulty for you in your decision or your discernment process?
This was a big problem, especially regarding to myself. My father was the firstborn in his family. My mother was the firstborn in her family. I am the firstborn in my family.
The eldest son.
The eldest son. And according to tradition, even the expectation of my clan, of my tribe, they were looking forward that I was going to continue the line.
What is your tribe, just so I...
It's Ndebele. Ndebele, there are those the tribes that ran away from the kingdom of Zulu, of Chaka Zulu. You know, because he was so cruel, sometimes he used to send soldiers to go and fight, and then they come back at night, they take their wives and children, they go for good because of the rule of Chaka.
So you were the eldest son.
I was the eldest son.
And this was a problem.
This was the problem. So I was expected to continue the line. But then my father, in fact, really said, no, if you want to become a priest, no problem. In fact, my father was a catechist. He was a catechist. When he came back from the war, he was sent to Catechetical Training Center. Then he was the catechist. So he encouraged me to go ahead. Then when my father died in 1971, just 2 months after I professed my first vows in the Omi congregation, then it became a big problem because now all the relatives said, now your father has passed away, and there were 5 children coming after me who
was going to look after them.
So that was a big problem.
But God provided.
It seems, yes, because it seems my parish priest, who was a Canadian, he read the situation and said, well, Augustine, if you want to become a priest, go ahead. In the meantime, I will be looking after your brothers and sisters because I know that your father was working with me.
Your Excellency, I want to talk a little bit about the situation in Lesotho, about the country and about the challenges facing the country. And one of them is the lack of resources, the poverty in the country. The UN, the United Nations, has indicated that 40% of the population is what they would declare as ultra-poor.
Yes.
What does ultra-poor mean, so that we have an understanding? And how can the Church help in this area of poverty?
I think I can say the ultra-poor means that the way I see it in my country, in Lesotho, there is uneven or unfair distribution of wealth. Those that have something keep it only for themselves, and they develop themselves. And those who are poor, really, there are no means of helping them up. So that's why I say those who are poor are becoming poorer and poorer, and those who are rich are becoming richer and richer because of the unfairness of the distribution of wealth.
And poverty would mean 1 meal a day. How do we picture poverty?
Yes, mostly in the rural areas. Really, let me say 2 meals a day.
2 meals a day.
Yeah, they eat in the morning and then they go to work. They only eat in the afternoon or in the evening when they come at home.
I want to just address quickly a little report that was indicated, and I'll read here. In 1980, cereal production met about 80% of the national requirements. In the 1990s, it was contributing 50%. By 2004, however, cereal production in Lesotho was estimated to contribute only 30% of the national cereal requirements, and this number is still falling. Mm-hmm. This means, first of all, why is the local agriculture declining? Why is it no longer able to support the population? And if this means, that means the consequence is you will have to import more and more cereal, more wheat, more of this product. What does this mean for poverty? So my question to you is, why is this happening? And secondly, what will this mean for poverty in the country?
I think that the first factor that causes this diminishing in production is the climate change.
How do you feel it?
Yeah,
are the rains not coming?
The rain is not coming. We have experienced unexpected drought. In the past, we knew that September was the sowing and plowing season, so we had good rains, and rain was coming in time. But now, really, the weather is so unreliable and unpredictable.
So the people don't know when to plant according for the rains.
Yes, but now it seems, because they still know that, for instance, in the mountains, they know that September is the plowing season. They still plow, and they say, well, the seeds will wait there until rain comes. Whereas in the lowlands, they are waiting for rain. They will plow only when rain has come. Sometimes it comes very late. For instance, now, when I left, we had plowed wheat in July, expecting that around August we'll be having some rain. But wheat has come out of soil, but nothing, not a single drop. No snow in the mountains and no rain in the lowlands. So this caused because now the pasture declined, there was no fodder for the animals. Animals died in great numbers because there was no food for them.
Are you facing a famine?
Yes, I could say we really are facing a famine. Because now most people now are not sure where they are going to harvest this season.
Your Excellency, in Lesotho, the Christian population makes up 90% and Catholics make up 70% of this. Would you say that this has been a blessing for the country? Also in light of the fact that there are so many difficulties that are still going on in the country, that you ask yourself why, if the Christian presence is so dominant, have many of these challenges, for example, corruption and other social issues, not been better addressed?
I think, first of all, by the fact that Christianity is that 90%, I think it's a blessing. It's a blessing because you find that even the government, I could say, it's respecting the Decalogue or the Ten Commandments. It is shown in the Constitution. It's only because of the human failings, I think, that there is corruption, because now because of poverty, they are enticed by some people who want to give them money to do that, this and that. But in all, I think Christianity is a blessing to my country.
So you're saying basically the cooperation is getting better and better?
Yes, yes.
Lesotho is also a kingdom. You have King Letsi III.
Yes.
How important is his role within the political landscape in Lesotho?
the king is playing the unifying role in the country, because despite the fact of the churches, the parties, he's the unifying person. They all respect him and love him.
He is a Catholic.
He's a Catholic, yes.
And he recently declared that he would no longer continue the tradition of polygamy, choosing one wife now. Mm-hmm. How important was this as a sign, because polygamy is still present in Lesotho?
In fact, in the beginning, the chiefs were the ones who had polygamy and some wealthy people. But now, due to the shortage and lack of animals, because in order to have a wife, one has got to pay 25 head of cattle. So that's why it was a sign of...
for each wife?
For each wife, yes. So now people began to put it away. In fact, I can say it's very, very few where you find that there are some people who are still practicing polygamy.
I want to ask you a little bit about the situation of HIV/AIDS, because about 23% of young people between the ages of 15 and 40 have contracted HIV/AIDS, making it one of the higher rates within Africa, within the world. Why is HIV/AIDS so prevalent in Lesotho?
HIV/AIDS is so prevalent in Lesotho mainly because of the decline in morality, because the church has kept on teaching and preaching no sex practice before marriage, even among the married couples, to be faithful to the partners. But now you find that, I think I could say Africa being what it is, really, there is that lapse in morality. So that's why it spreads so easily. And also the poverty, which resulted in shortage of a balanced diet. So that's where you find out people got it easily. And also lack of medicine, proper medicine for HIV. It's only of late that the RV are being distributed in the clinics, but before that, really, it was difficult to have them.
Is this not, however, a poor reflection on the Catholic education? Because Catholic education is very strong. As we've spoken about earlier, the majority of the population is Christian. Where has this broken down? That is, that the morality is declining, and yet Catholic education is still so strong.
Yes. I think I could say that the Catholicism has always played a big role in the lives of the people, but most of the people find that, in short, they are Catholics on Sundays when they've gone for church services. But during the week, no, they are really 90% inclined to their own traditional way of living.
So there's a separation between the faith and the day-to-day.
I could say that.
How do you overcome this?
For instance, myself, when I grew up, in each village there was a prayer house where all the Catholics could go and pray together, and even teach the children of the village catechism. But of late, you find that no, that is no more in practice. That's why really it is one of the present challenges that some of us, like myself, in my diocese, I want to reintroduce teaching of catechism outside school, that is in the villages, and also to strengthen the catechetical training center where we could invite people to be trained to be catechists in order to teach catechism in the villages and in the outstations.
I want to address one topic with relation to this question of HIV/AIDS, and that is the orphans. There are approximately 180,000 orphans of HIV/AIDS, and the situation where the grandparents now, because the parents have died, are obliged to look after the children. What kind of strain is this on the society, and how also can the church help in this question?
This is a big strain really on the society, because we find that most young men and female die leaving orphans behind, and I've experienced that in my family.
Your own family?
Oh yes, in my own family we were 2 boys, and my brother was a military man. We died. The wife died in 2003
Of AIDS?
Of AIDS. He died in 2006 of AIDS, leaving 4 children, 4 orphans. On the funeral of my brother, I had to call the kids in front to see the people so they could see that now these children are going to be all by themselves here.
Who is looking after now? Is there extended family to look after?
Yes, my sister. My sister is looking after them. During the holidays, she goes to her house, to her home. Then when the schools are open, she comes to stay with the kids because the other one's now at the university, the elder one.
So this problem has touched you personally, but is an enormous
yes.
consequence for the country.
Yes.
Also economically, because the death of the parents means that those breadwinners are no longer there.
It's true, yes. Now for the church, the Sisters of Charity from Ottawa, they have built a big orphanage. And there are some NGOs, non-governmental organizations that have orphanages in the country. So the church is helping those that are funded by the religious, and the government is still helping even themselves, but they find that their donor agencies really they do help a lot in these orphanages. There are a lot of them.
Your Excellency, what would you say is your greatest need in the country today, in Lesotho?
I think the church in Lesotho today needs to stand on its own, self-sufficiency. This is what, for instance, the Bishops' Conference in Lesotho is really encouraging all the people, especially the Catholics, because really we have inherited that relying on donation from outside because we were helped by the missionaries, whereas the other churches for a long time they have been on their own. So now the church in Lesotho, especially the Catholicism, really needs to do all means to be self-reliant.
And the spiritual needs, what would you say?
Oh, the spiritual needs, really, the church, there is a big hope in the future. For instance, our seminary is full. We have many major seminaries. My diocese, I have 3 here in Rome and 18 in major seminary in Roma. Really, as for the spiritual growth, really, there is a hope that the church will survive in the future.
Your Excellency, thank you for having been with us today on our program.
Thank you very much, and I hope for the best for you and all the people who are going to view this interview.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having been with us today on Where God Weeps. And if you'd like to know more about the Catholic Church in lesotho, or perhaps how you might be able to help, I would encourage you to look at the contact information, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.